Welcome to the latest episode of the B Movie Club. I'm your host, Kevin. This week we'll be discussing the 1989 action, comedy, cop, drama, Turner and Hooch, starring Tom Hanks and Craig T. Nelson, Mare Winningham, Reginald VelJohnson. The list goes on and on. It's an all-star cast. What can I tell you? For those of you joining us for the first time, each week on the B Movie Club, I'll discuss certain guilty pleasures of forgotten classics of the past. You can go to our page on Facebook, Original B Movie Club, and give us the thumbs up. Also go to our page on YouTube, Kevin D, that's me. Hit the subscribe button, it's totally free, and you can follow me on Twitter at the B Movie Club. Don't forget to spread the word to all your friends and neighbors, if you please. This week, Turner and Hooch. In a small Northern California town called Cypress Beach, Scott Turner is the lead investigator, kind of the detective of the police department. He is kind of an anal type of person, and meaning he likes everything in its place. Very clean, very orderly, but he's bored out of his mind with Cypress Beach. He has requested and received a transfer. He's going to move to Sacramento, where he'll actually get to solve real crimes. Evidently, there's a lot of misdemeanors that occur, but not too many felonies, because it's a sleepy little beach community, and it's boring to him. So he's training his replacement, but right before he's about to leave town, his stuff's all packed up, a murder occurs. Now, in this sleepy town, there aren't a whole lot of murders. So he's like, you know what, I gotta solve the case, find it out. Basically what happened is there was an old guy who lives on the docks, kind of a junkyard guy, and he's got a crazy old dog named Hooch, who's just big, strong, dirty, and sloppy. And he's called Turner on over and said, you know what, I'm hearing a lot of weird noises from the meatpacking plant across the way. I don't know what's going on, you know. Turner kind of is, whatever. I'm going to ignore your concerns because you're an old crazy dude with a dog. That man is killed in the night. Now we know that there is something kind of bad going on. We're not sure exactly what it is, but the evil guys at the meatpacking plant can see the guy across the way, the old crazy guy watching him. So they send over a guy who kills him. End of him. So now Turner's on the case. The only witness to the crime is Hooch, the crazy old dog. Now, granted, I'm not a legal expert, okay? I'm not a law professor, okay? I'm not sure how admissible a dog's testimony in court is. It's possible, you know? I don't know. I mean, if they had Lassie up in there, he'd bark at people. I don't know. It's hard to say. But Turner, because I guess they were going to turn the dog over to the pound where he's going to be put to sleep. So even though he had a very contentious relationship with this dog that's established, he feels like I can't send him off to the glue factory just yet. I need to keep the dog so I can find out who the murderer is, essentially. Starting to get this? So the big old sloppy, drooly dog has to move in with Turner, who, as I said, is very clean, very orderly. So it's kind of an odd couple kind of scenario. You got the dog running around the house chewing up everything. Literally, throughout the entire movie, drool is just coming out of his mouth in long streams. Just drool. So his house is getting destroyed. He's very upset. He goes to the local veterinarian and tries to find out what the story is. You know, hey, can you take this dog off my hands? I'm a very straight-laced guy. I don't need a crazy old sloppy dog. But over the course of the movie, Hooch and Turner and Hooch begin to appreciate each other, get an understanding. I don't want to spoil everything that happens, Needless to say, they identify the murderer. They get to the bottom of the crime. They solve it. I guess that is kind of a spoiler alert. They figure it all out. So that's a good thing. This movie came out in 1989. It was actually preceded by 3 months a similar themed movie called Canine with James Belushi. And he's a police officer and he gets a dog. Hilarity ensues. Even though Canine came out months before Turner and Hooch, Turner and Hooch was a much bigger hit and has gone on, like, Canine is basically forgettable. Where Turner and Hooch, even now people talk about the majesty that is Turner and Hooch. What Hollywood figured out, what the paying public already knew, is that we appreciate Tom Hanks more than we like James Belushi. Shocker? I don't know. Canine, they made a couple extra sequels. They did not make any sequels to Turner and Hooch. Spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, Hooch is killed. Well, sorry. If you haven't seen Turner and Hooch, I'm spoiled that for you. Hooch dies. And Tom Hanks is on the record saying that the movie would have been an even bigger success if only Hooch had been alive. If like it survived to the end, to make sequels, I guess. I don't know. And there's a scene where Tom Hanks is like very upset because Hooch is no longer with us. It's very sad. And evidently that was like his real emotion. I mean, he's a good actor, but this was real stuff coming out because this was the last scene that he was going to be filming in that movie. So it was the last time he was going to have to work with Hooch, and he kind of developed a bond, a real bond with the dog. So it was real emotions coming out. Now, the kindly veterinarian love interest is played by Mare Winningham. You might remember her from St. Elmo's Fire. She was the one in the group who was not particularly famous. You're like, who the heck is that? There's Rob Lowe, there's Demi Moore, and then there's that woman. I don't know who she is. That's Mare Winningham. So she's in this as the love interest. Craig T. Nelson, who you might remember from Coach. He was in the Poltergeist movies. There's a bunch of stuff. He plays Turner's boss. Spoiler alert, I don't know. But there's something else going on with the boss. Okay, I don't want to spoil everything more than I already am. The dog, Hooch, was played by the dog Beasley. And this is a Bordeaux, Dogue de Bordeaux is what they're called. They're like French Mastiffs. And there's a lot of scenes where, Tom Hanks is trying to hold the dog. And the dog was so strong, it literally was yanking itself from the leash all the time. So that was real. There's a lot of real stuff going on there because this is a very strong dog. So there you go. They actually made a pilot that was going to kind of kick off like a series called Turner and Hooch. I don't know, is Hooch, a ghost? Like Obi-Wan Kenobi? Is he a zombie? I don't know. Maybe they just forgot the fact that Hooch dies at the end of the movie. But they made the pilot, was not picked up. Tom Hanks is not in it. It was actually Thomas Wilson, who you might remember from the Back to the Future movies. Or you may not. I don't know. Other actors that were considered for the role of Hooch. There were no other actors considered for the role of Hooch. Other actors considered for the role of Turner included Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, Dudley Moore. It was an all-star cast. They all said, I will take a pass on that. And it fell to Tom Hanks, who was obviously a name at this point. People knew who Tom Hanks was. But he became a much bigger star after this movie in the 90s. That kind of made him a superstar, where he was getting nominated for Academy Awards. Up to this point, he was like in Splash and Bachelor Party and things like that. Kind of fun, light fare. Like Turner and Hooch. Hey. And again, because he became a much bigger star, the movie Turner and Hooch became kind of a cult thing. I wouldn't go so far as to say that's really funny. It's a lot of kind of physical humor of Turner getting pulled through doggy doors by the leash, that sort of thing. And then a lot of Tom Hanks going, "Don't eat the car! No, why'd you do that, Hooch? You're spraying me with slobber. What are you doing?" A lot of that stuff. It's not that funny. It's fun. It's light. It's fine. Not my favorite movie where it's a cop and a dog. That might be Top Dog with Chuck Norris that came out a few years later. No, this is definitely the best of the Odd Couple, the the clean cop and the dirty dog, if you will. There's been a lot of references to this movie. They made references to it in Scrubs. They made references to it on that TV show Castle, because it's a classic. When they were pitching Tom Hanks to be in the movie Toy Story, they actually took some of his dialogue from Turner and Hooch and animated it to show, like, hey, here's what we could do for you to be in Toy Story. So he appreciated it, signed on immediately. Evidently, Henry Winkler, the Fonz, was supposed to direct this movie and was fired 12 days into it by a Disney executive and replaced by Roger Spottiswoode, who you might remember, he directed Terror Train, Shoot to Kill, the list goes on and on. He's a very successful director. What else can I tell you about this movie? Jack Nicholson was considered for this role. I don't know what this movie would be like if Jack Nicholson was in it. Hooch, why are you eating up my car, Hooch? That's the worst Jack Nicholson impression ever. But anyway, it would be a different film. Okay, it'd be different. So, this movie currently has a 52% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not a horrible movie, but it's very nondescript. If Tom Hanks didn't go on to become Tom Hanks, no one would talk about Turner and Hooch. He'd be up with K-9 and James Belushi. Okay? Again, not horrible, not terrible, just kind of, okay, it's Tom Hanks and a dog. What are you going to do about it? It is streaming instantly on Netflix, so if you'd like to check it out, please do so. If you have any other movie suggestions, feel free to send them on to me. You can reach me on our page on Facebook, Original B Movie Club. You can reach me on our page on YouTube. And you can reach me on Twitter at The B Movie Club. Next week, I'm going to be moving away from the comedy action genre into the comedy horror genre. We're going to be doing that famous horror comedy, House, starring William Catt, George Wendt, Richard Mall. If you don't know any of those people, I don't know what to say. They were big on TV in the 80s. This is House, the horror movie, not House MD, about the doctor who solves crimes. I don't know. It is streaming instantly on Netflix, so rush out and see it. Let me know what you think. As you know, I end every episode with a totally out of context quote. And here it is. Not the car! Don't eat the car! What am I yelling at you for? You're a dog! Yeah. I tried to pick something a little bit more original, but that's basically his entire dialogue with the dog the entire time. No! Stop! Ah! What are you doing? Oh! My stereo! A lot of stuff like that. So, there you have it. Next week, House! Thank you for joining us, and be well.